My name is Jennifer Stirling-Campbell, and I'm now offering a free 20-minute one-on-one session exclusively for my newsletter subscribers. Sign up at overcomedepressionpodcast.com and quick start your healing journey today. In today's podcast, Mike and I are going to talk about all things smelly, how those smells impact our emotions, our overall health, and why protecting our sense of smell is important for mental health. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining me today, Mike.
It's good to be here.
We're here after we got the baby to bed. We decided to do a late night podcast. It's about 10 o'clock p.m. So this should be fun. Nice date night.
It's the best time.
Yeah, right? Everybody's quiet. So I actually wanted to start this podcast with a story back when I was single. And this was several years after I'd kind of gotten on the health bandwagon and started changing my diet, and I'd purged my home of all the chemicals. So I went to my sister's wedding and she offered to do my hair. And I was like, sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm not that good at hair. So she was doing my hair. I was one of the bridesmaids. And she used her products, her hairspray, which is fine. I'm not shaming my sister's choice of hair products, but I'll tell you why they were probably not the best idea for someone who struggles with depression. Because I noticed that entire day, I was a little bit more on edge, a little bit more pessimistic, just not real cheerful. And I was kind of thinking, gosh, what's wrong with me? It's my sister's wedding. I should be more happy. Lots of good food, good company, what's going on? And as I started thinking about it, I realized it was the hairspray. Like, I even prayed about it. Like, well, what's going on with me? And I go, it's the hairspray, Jennifer. What? Really? The hairspray? And I realized that as I did some of the research on some of the chemicals in hairsprays that the fragrances in particular, the perfumes, and the other chemicals in it can be endocrine disrupting, hormonal disrupting. It can kind of mess with our mood because smells and fragrances are directly connected to the emotional center of our brain, which...
It taps into metabolism as well. The endocrine system is in charge of all of the hormonal functions of the body, and metabolism is part of that function.
Yeah, makes sense. So I want to talk about why we need to be focusing more on real scents, real flowers. Essential oils are a real product, but it has to be the right essential oil. Again, talking about more of that in a minute, because there's a lot of essential oils that aren't processed correctly. They're more like a synthetic than an essential oil. So the essential oils that I buy are from Indigo Mountain, Health and Wellness, or doTERRA. Young Living, I've heard good things about as well, but anything that isn't a real scent from a natural source is going to put stress on the body, just like food does. And going into that just a little bit, because I read an article about that recently, they were talking about the quote-unquote natural flavors that aren't actually natural flavors that they're putting in the food, that they have for years, and how these natural flavors are enhanced. They're designed to be very strong, so that they really, really stimulate the salivary glands to the extent that you salivate more than you normally would when you eat a regular meal with real food. One thing this does is that it makes the food more addictive because you want more of it. You think you're more hungry. You're going back for more when you're really not. You're just salivating more. And the enhanced flavor makes it so that when you eat regular, real food, with just normal spices and maybe some salt, you're not going to necessarily appreciate the normal food anymore. You're going to want the stuff with the additives in it.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. And like regular fruits and vegetables, they're just like, man, no thank you, yucky.
Even if it's seemingly healthy food, like you go to even more the healthier choices for eating out, and they still will have those chemicals or in the food that leave you wanting more. They all kind of have their own signature take and smell.
Yeah.
You walk into Burger King, it smells different than McDonald's. When you walk into McDonald's, it smells different.
Very true. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, it is a science that they do put into the food to make you want to come back for more.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a kid, McDonald's in particular does a really good job of marketing to kids, because as a child, my mom never mentioned McDonald's, and I was always begging her to go because of the commercials were so good. And yeah, that it's a really good point that the smell, like you go into McDonald's and it smells like McDonald's. So as a child, you're going, this is McDonald's. I love McDonald's, and have the
Well,
play place.
it's the fries, really. I think the fries are the thing that stands out the most at McDonald's, along with their ice cream cone. Who can pass up a 99-cent ice cream cone?
Oh no, it was 49 cents when I was in college. Maybe even 42 at one point, and I got that ice cream cone on a regular basis until I think I finally figured out that it wasn't milk at all. Basically, their entire ice cream is chemicals.
But it tasted good. Like,
I,
holy cow.
yeah. For that price, I was like, fat-free sour cream. Like, why could that be possible? That sour cream could be fat-free? Well, it's not because one time I looked at what I was buying and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no sour cream in this. It's just chemicals. That was kind of a awakening. But as I cleaned up my diet, and it took me years to detox and stop craving these foods, but once I did, people will tell me, oh, I couldn't possibly live that way. It would be miserable. I would just want to be happy eating what I want. And I'm like, you don't get it. Once I stopped being addicted to this food, I love the healthy food. I crave the healthy food, the fruits, the vegetables, the smoothies, the beans, all of the nourishing, like Ezekiel bread. I want it. And before it has
More
flavor to me, and the other stuff just tastes to me like fake. It literally tastes like this isn't food. And interesting that it took me a long time to get to that point, but I do not want it. If I have to eat it because that's all that's available, I will, but it's definitely not what I choose.
What's more whole food, stepping away from the sugar more than anything. And that's the hardest thing I've struggled with.
You're doing good. You've been making big strides.
Well, the last month or so has been pretty good, actually.
Bravo. You want to tell our audience what you've done to kind of wean yourself off? Because I feel like it does take kind of a weaning process.
I think mental awareness is important. First of all, a desire to change. There's natural habits. We pass by a gas station, we pass by fast food places, and naturally we're triggered. And once again, the smell, right? When it's about noontime, a lot of these restaurants are firing up their grills and they purposely want people to smell their restaurant and what's cooking.
Which isn't
And
necessarily a bad thing if you've got good food.
absolutely. But I'm just saying, if you're out and about and you're consciously aware of these things that draw you in, sometimes you find yourself pulling into a gas station and then the reality hits, why am I here? Well, I stop here every day on my way to work, but why? Oh, it's to get that little sugar fix or that AM get up and go, whatever it might be, drink, whatever it is. So being able to consciously
Keep
not,
driving.
yeah, just
Keep
keep,
driving.
or intentionally prepare something before you leave that can help wean you off, that might be a healthier choice.
You've been doing these Zevia drinks instead of sodas, right? So you haven't done soda in a long time, but while you haven't been doing sugar, the Zevia is kind of the fix for you because it has stevia in it.
Yeah, it's good. I don't want to like fully endorse that either, but I think it's a step in a better direction. At least getting away from high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, I
Um,
had to use stevia to wean off of sugar. Like, there was no way I would have survived if I couldn't have had my lemon water with stevia added to it. It was brutal.
Cream soda is something that's always been super desirable for me. That flavor is something that correlates to childhood and good memories. And that's not horrible. It's good to have that.
I wish so badly that it was part of our culture to use better sweeteners, raw honey, brown
Mhm.
rice syrup, even coconut sugar is a step up, maple syrup. It's just so prolific. Sugar everywhere. You can't go to any social gathering without it being present. And it's really hard as a mom trying to navigate. It doesn't make me want to go anywhere with my kids because I know I'll have to fight them over the sugar thing. The day is coming when we're going to need our immune systems thriving and abundant. A lot of people think I'm too extreme and crazy because I really do make an effort. Like, my 2.5-year-old has not had sugar pretty much at all, but he eats really well.
Well, it's interesting. He actually eats the whole foods. Like he'll crave a carrot. He just eats a kiwi like an apple. He just eats it,
The skin and everything.
the skin and everything.
Yeah.
And It's so fun to watch. He just grabs it out of the fridge. He goes and he sits down on his toy box and he's just looking and eating this kiwi whole. That's his treat. He's just
He's so happy.
he's savoring this kiwi intently.
Yeah, and as a child, I remember not being able to wait till I got my next sugar fix. I really couldn't. I was always after the treats. Where's dessert?
Where I grew up, we had dirt bikes that we would ride to the rest area where there were vending machines to get a soda pop, about 8 miles away, maybe 10 miles. But we would ride our bikes the back way and jump over the fence and get our soda pops and think we were pretty cool.
And what if the world only had fruit juice?
As you get older, you really realize how much sugar messes up your digestive system.
It didn't take me that long because as an athlete, we were in 7th grade. And I didn't ever really like soda that much. It wasn't really my thing. But the coaches, they specifically ordered, you will not drink soda if you're on this team. And I agreed, no worries, no problem. As a reward, the school gave all the kids a soda one day. And I can't remember what we did to earn this reward. But I thought, well, wouldn't it be a shame to let this go to waste? And I ended up drinking it. And so did everybody else. And we were all dying that day in practice. I could not believe the difference just that one soda had on every single person who was running that day. It was like, oh my heck. Because if you're not competing at that level, you might not never necessarily recognize how much that would affect your body or drain you. But I was like, wow, if it's that hard on my body, not worth it. Never again. That was the last soda I ever drank. I just had no desire to drink another soda ever again after that. It was awful. Oh, that was such an awful day. Hangover. Yeah. I've never had one.
Personal experience around it, though, like when I was drinking soda, and this is interesting because I don't get this with the Zevia. I'd have a Mellow Yellow on occasion and a Coke on occasion, and I found that I would start to develop heartburn, and I noticed when I stopped drinking soda pop, and it took me about a week, my heartburn went away. At that point, I could literally eat like whatever normal things that would give you heartburn and nothing.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I asked a friend of mine, a mentor, when I was just newly married and my husband was having trouble with heartburn. And I'm like, well, what herbs can help with heartburn? And she's like, well, you actually just have to eat better. And I was like, oh. Because I was wanting a quick fix, but you actually have to change your system. You have to change what you're putting into it. And if you're doing a lot of acidic foods, the antacids, you're doing harm to your body more than helping. If you're doing that, don't take antacids. Figure out something else, please.
You can damage your system to a point where even if you do kind of revert back and you make a change, it might take a while.
Oh, it does. And that's why so many people give up, because they want immediate results. And it takes sometimes months, occasionally years, to really see the results. And sometimes it's really a lot sooner, but it's not a quick fix to undo the past 20, 30, 40 years of what you've been putting into it. If you've been doing it that long, you got to build a new body.
There's a lot of phases your body's going to go through in that recovery before it gets back to where it was before you started drinking soda pop. I mean, it's going to fight to get back there again.
Body's amazing. You build a new body every 7 years. That's a fact. Which is pretty cool to think about. Whatever you're putting in your body right now, you look 7 years ahead, you're going to have a completely new body, every cell replaced. And I know that seems like a long time away, but you're going to get to 7 years in the future faster than you think. And then do you really want to get 7 years in the future and go, oh, I wish I'd taken better care of myself? Build something that you can be proud of is all I'm suggesting. Yeah. We're all going to get older, but you can still have a thriving, amazing body. Getting older doesn't mean falling apart. When I die, I hope my heart gets old and it eventually stops beating. I don't think that any one of us needs to become decrepit, suffering, breaking apart.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that. I'm like, you don't really realize what you have until you can't use it anymore sometimes, especially your back. And I've noticed yoga has been one of the most helpful things. And when I ignore it because I'm feeling good, think you
Isn't
don't
that
need
the
it.
thing, though? As soon as we start feeling good, we stop doing the things that work. I mean, that's everybody. Like, it's really easy to do that.
Yeah.
Feeling great, I think I can cheat. I want to get back to the talk about smells because that's what this podcast is about. This book I have, it's made by Young Living. It's called Essential Oils, desk reference, 4th edition. It's a beast of a book. I think I paid $80 for it years ago. It's like a textbook for college or something. I never read the whole thing, but it's a really good reference. And I was looking at some of my notes and remembered that it says, I'm just going to read it. The chemistry of essential oils is very complex. Each one may contain hundreds of different chemical compounds that balance and counteract each other. In other words, it's hard to overdose on essential oils because they have those balancing properties in them, like an herb does compared to the smells of artificial fragrances or things that you would maybe apply topically in creams and lotions and so forth, could give side effects of some sort, whereas an essential oil, when smelled, is going to have so many different chemical components to it that if it was designed to calm you, for example, it couldn't calm you too much. Like if you poured an entire bottle of lavender all over yourself, your heart wouldn't go too slow or something like that because it's so much. It would just be really strong lavender smell. But I love, 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 love essential oils. I don't use them a ton. I use them kind of as needed. And I think that's how they need to be used. I do like to diffuse lemon and citrus occasionally, or at Christmas time, I have a Christmas blend that's just kind of nice, puts me in the mood. They're very cleansing, antibacterial, antiviral.
Don't drink oregano.
That's really, really tough. We have a tincture. I think I gave Mike a big tincture full of one, and he was like, ah.
You're like, here, take. It was like a whole droplet thing full of it.
It's
And
strong. Maybe 3 drops will do enough.
yeah, there was a lot more than 3 drops there, but that'll pick you up.
Oh, and I have kind of a story. So I was given Olbas oil as a gift from a friend for when you get sick. You're supposed to like put it on yourself, and usually you can use like a carrier oil or something, but the directions literally said use liberally. So I was getting sick, and I'm like, cool, I'll use it liberally. So I covered my whole body in this oil, thinking I was doing the right thing and following the instructions. I wasn't doing anything stupid. And oh my gosh, I got freezing cold, painful. Like, oh my gosh. I was trying to get warm.
Luckily, you live in Arizona.
No, it was so bad. And I was like under the covers, but it hurt like to have the covers on top of me. And I was just like dying for a couple hours. It was intense. I think it did help me not get sick, but I was like, not doing that again. Use some carrier oil. Be careful. Talk to people who know more about oils than I do. So yes, essential oils are very strong. Didn't kill me though, so that's good. But this book also talks about the sense of smell and the sciencey stuff. So the sense of smell is the only one of the 5 senses directly linked to the limbic lobe of the brain, the emotional control center, which is so cool. So your limbic system. It also affects the hypothalamus, the hormone command center in the body, and the amygdala. And the scent of a special fragrance can evoke memories and emotions before we are even consciously aware of it. And I can attest to this. There's so many times where I've been just walking, I don't know, maybe by a market shop, and I'll have this random memory pop into my head and go, that was interesting. I wonder where that came from. And then I think about it and realize that there's a smell in that area that reminded me of that event. And that's why, because we tend to store anything with an emotional attachment to it, good or bad. So trauma or the time we were in love, like all those things get stored in this emotional center.
Drama.
Even, anything intense. So intensive emotions of any kind will get stored, or just nice emotions. It could be anything, but anything that had an emotional response, we tend to store away. The rest kind of gets filtered and stored somewhere deep that we don't really recall. But you could walk by a cookie shop and suddenly have a memory of another time that you may not even have been making cookies, but there was that smell in the area when that experience occurred.
Sure. I relate to that. There's an interesting smell. It's a combination of a warm day and hydraulic fluid and dust. Hydraulic oil has a specific smell, like tractors and equipment and stuff. But that takes me back to my childhood and working with my dad on the farm.
In Arizona, we have really hot days that makes things really humid if it's getting irrigated. And when I was running cross country and junior high, there was a cornfield right by where we would run, and we'd run in circles around this place. And every time I got to that field, I was like, not again. Only 3 left. Miserable. Why did I do that to myself?
It traps the humidity.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
And when it wasn't being irrigated, it was nice. It would drop about 10 degrees when you ran by that cornfield. I remember bad memories associated with certain smells. One of my sisters gave me her old perfume after a really bad relationship. She's like, I can't wear this anymore. Just too many bad thoughts associated with this perfume. Back when I wore perfume, we don't wear perfume. I don't wear perfume. Mike, you don't wear cologne.
Right.
We do okay. I really like the way Mike smells naturally. I think you like the way I smell naturally. I'm assuming you do. You don't complain.
No, you smell good.
But pheromones, they're a thing, and it's a little bit tragic that we have so many smelly things that we pour all over ourselves, whether it's shampoo or deodorant, perfumes, and all these things, lotions, that literally cover up our smell and make it impossible to actually smell what we smell like. And I'm not talking about BO, okay? That's a totally different thing, but like just your smell, I would venture to say that people who eat a lot of fast food don't naturally smell as good as people who eat a lot of whole foods because just what that does. There's a lot of detox that the body has to try to do through its sweat when you're eating a lot of stuff that it doesn't want. But I don't know, Mike doesn't eat quite as good as I do, and you smell amazing to me. And something that I was told by a previous boyfriend before I met you, Mike, was that the way that we smell, and I'm sure people listening can identify with this, but there's certain people that I've sit next to, been by, it's not BO, it's just the way they smell, and it's kind of off-putting. It's like, ugh, like there's just something about their smell I don't like, and didn't change day to day. If I was going to school with them and I'd see them on a daily basis, they just always smelled like that. And other people who just smell so yummy. And I'm talking about people who are not wearing a lot of fragrances, that you can actually smell them. And what he said was that when two people like the way each other smells, that's an indication that their DNA is really well matched, that they would be better able to make a healthy child together than, say, a person who could only tolerate the smell, but they really liked the person, so they married them anyway, and they had kids. So, but that's not necessarily as good of a match. And that there is such a thing as being allergic to your partner. And I'm not even sure what the science behind that is, but just interesting. But that we don't need to be covering ourselves up with all these smells. The only smell I put on is my deodorant, and it's got natural essential oils in it. And a lot of people use coconut oil or baking soda even. I've heard of some people using that, and that works for them.
Also, some of the perfumes control reproduction as well. So like a cycle or a period
Can be affected by
it can be affected
chemical
by
smells.
perfumes and
Yeah.
stuff.
And I do feel like I'm pretty dang regular, whereas when I was young and using all the perfumes, I wasn't. So that's an interesting consideration. I'm going to read this from Dr. Axe. DrAxe.com. Up to 95% of chemicals used in synthetic fragrances are derived from petroleum, which is crude oil. They include benzene derivatives, which are carcinogenic, aldehydes, and toluene, and I don't know what either of those are, and many other known toxic chemicals linked to cancer, birth defects, central nervous system disorders, respiratory distress, headaches, dizziness, nausea, brain fog, and allergic reactions, including fragrance sensitivity allergy. I feel like I'm a lot more sensitive to fragrances now than I was as a youth, but I think it's just because I notice. Like before, I was depressed all the time. I was doing so many things counterintuitive to getting healthy that I don't think I noticed the difference. Whereas now that I'm much more aware and sensitive, I can't stand the smell of Tide, for example. It's just very off-putting to me and makes me want to run. Or if I smell it coming out of exhaust of somebody's dryer, the dryer vents, or those sheets, those dryer sheets. Don't use those dryer sheets. Oh my gosh, what a waste of money. Like, yes, more chemicals on my clothes, please. Like, just don't buy those. I use the little wool balls that are supposed to help fluff up your clothes so they're not as wrinkly, but yeah, I would continue, sorry. Some of the worst toxic ingredients used in lotions, shampoos, laundry detergents, cleaning products, and so much more include synthetic scents, often listed on labels as elusive fragrance because they don't want to give away their secret formulas, right? That's their excuse. Many of those on the list are known or suspected endocrine disruptors, which is what Mike said, compounds that tinker with hormonal health that can trigger weight gain and even set you up for disease decades down the line. If you see parfum or fragrance on the label, it is a catch-all term. It actually can stand for thousands of different ingredients. And when you use a product like this on your body, all of those mysterious ingredients are absorbed right into your bloodstream. And again, like talking of clothes, use a natural soap for your clothes. I feel like they don't work as well at getting smells out. That's just my experience. I don't think I've ever found one that works as good as Tide. But these detergents, they're covering up the smells with stronger smells. That's how they work. And my solution for this, personally, has been to do most of my loads on the sanitize cycle. So they get really hot and they all smell great now. So that was my personal solution. Some people might be opposed to this, and I'm sure you could probably think of other things to do. Maybe use baking soda in your loads, some vinegar. I've heard that works really great too. I just don't choose to use vinegar a lot in the clothes washer because it can be kind of hard on the clothes washer if you're using it all the time. And I want my clothes washer to last a long time. Electrolux, it's great. But the only cleaners that we really use around here are vinegar and baking soda, and then that all-purpose cleaner that I use with the vodka for the shower and the windows.
That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'll get stains out with that stuff.
That stuff, actually, I'm really surprised because I've lived in a lot of places with dirty showers, and they weren't always dirty to begin with, but they get dirty quick. And
really quick.
You get the water stains and the
soap scum.
Yeah, all the buildup in the shower.
Gross. And it's all the skin. You can see all the skin on the side of the showers.
That vodka mix that you have I don't see it.
Yeah, it looks clean all the time. And if you haven't listened to that podcast, it's awesome. It's the shower spray one. And I'll tell you what the recipe is. Save you some time. You get just a spray bottle, half a cup of hydrogen peroxide, 1/2 cup of vodka, a tablespoon of an eco-friendly jet dry, but I use vinegar, and you can decide which one you feel more comfortable with, and then 6 drops of eco-friendly dish soap. Fill the bottle to the top with water. Ta-da! It lasts a pretty long time if you're only using it for the shower and you only do it once a day. But if you use it for everything, it won't last as long, but it's amazing. It's just phenomenal. That would be the only cleaner you will ever need. It's so multi-purpose, it's not even funny. It disinfects, it deodorizes, that you can spray in the air if you want to. It'll help with smells, get stains out. So yeah, there's just no need for all of those cleaners that they sell us. There's just no need. You don't need them. So stop buying them. My challenge to you after you've listened to this podcast is to go through your cupboards, get rid of your stuff. If you can't afford to replace everything right now, use it up, buy something or make something better like my vodka spray or just vinegar and water. It's cheap. Baking soda, cheap. You don't need anything else. Don't buy it again. And as for some of the other stuff, like your shampoos, my favorite shampoo is actually a body wash made by Kate's Family. It's very expensive, but it lasts a long time. The other option I really like is, what is it called? We get it for free for the next 10 years because we bought a water purifying system and they bribed us with 10 years of free soap. And at first I was like, free soap? What kind of free soap?
I forgot the name of it.
It's pureandgentlesoap.com. I was kind of cynical, like, I don't want your soap if it's not clean. You know, sticking my nose up and he showed me the ingredients and I was like, oh, okay, like these are really good. It was Pure and Gentle soap. So I get their shampoo and body wash is really good. Their hand soap's really good. Some of these other products, they're not as good as they market them to be. Like Miss Myers, it's not that great. So I really am sold on the Pure and Gentle soap. It's a step in a better direction, but I really do like the Pure and Gentle soap. Candles, get rid of your candles if they're not natural. Sorry, guys.
I don't know if this is appropriate for this podcast or not, but you mentioned this before and it's true. I've been in a lot of grocery stores. I've worked in a lot of grocery stores, but the interesting thing that you mentioned was all your whole foods are going to be on the perimeter parts of the grocery store. All of the processed foods are going to be through the middle aisles. Anyway, I was going through all the middle aisles and I couldn't find anything that didn't have either high fructose corn syrup or your tostiferol ingredient, which is in all the
cereals. To do a whole podcast on cereals. I was so sad when I learned that. I was like, why did I have to learn that fact?
Yeah, or enriched or bleached flour. I mean, it can be created. You can create a really good tasting cracker or a chip without seed oils. Try to find crackers and chips without seed oils. Try to find anything in those middle aisles that don't have seed oils in it.
And you'll be hard pressed. I'll give you $1 for every one you find. You'll find like maybe one.
It's hard. You look at the canned goods. It should be simple, straight up stuff, but they somehow manage to even screw that up.
Yeah, it's hard to find processed food that I'm willing to buy these days, and that's fine. I buy pretty simple food. We eat pretty simple.
Well, you go to the seasoning packets. The seasoning.
Oh yeah, they throw crap in that too.
It should just be just basic seasonings combined. Throw that other stuff. Like why? It doesn't make any sense why they put seed oils in it.
Yeah, it's frustrating. There's things I want to buy that I don't because they have the seed oil at the end. Like, that's so dumb. Why'd you do that? But I do appreciate, I'm very grateful for all of the products out there that I can buy. Thank you. They make tomato ketchup now that doesn't have sugar, only vegetables in them. They sweeten it using ground up carrots and stuff. It's about 4 times as much as the regular organic ketchup. But to me, it's worth it. Like, I love that, and I love supporting that. And same with the fragrance stuff. When it comes to your lotions, you can make lotion if you really want to, or Melaleuca has an amazing lotion. Amazing lotion. I can't remember if it has fragrance in it, but if it does, it's not very much. It really doesn't smell like much. The deodorant, I'm all about Schmidt's or Lumi, but you really do kind of have to dig. You might get a little frustrated at first, but don't lose heart. You're going to become an expert at all things natural because there's not a ton of them. So you'll learn what they are pretty quick. No, there's plenty. I would say even in cosmetics, there's cleaner ones and ones with perfumes in them. It's just like, why? But the Melaleuca sells really good ones. I like Kosas.
Just keep in mind, I mean, we still live in a free market society, so the more healthy things you buy and you promote,
right, there'll be more of them because more people are a demand.
There's going to be more of them, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You vote with your money, people. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's too expensive, I can't afford it, but most of us can figure it out. And I know I've said that a lot of times on this podcast, but there are probably things you can trade one for another for your health. Vending machines will eat away your money. Stop using vending machines. Make a pact. I don't do that anymore. How much you could save from not using vending machines and put them into buying better products for your cosmetics, your lotions, your potions, your shampoos. All these things that will make you literally less depressed. I can't emphasize that enough. These things, they affect your brain. They affect the chemical makeup. And it's not just me. I don't think there's a single person on this planet they don't affect. I would say that they affect some more than others. Not everyone on this planet is chronically depressed. But if you were to completely get rid of all of it, you had completely pure water, amazing food, amazing products, you would feel a difference. You would know that, wow, I feel so much better without this stuff. But you don't know because you're just in it. You're inundated with it. At work, there are probably fragrances at work. But at least you can control what you put in your car, what you put in your house, what you're doing when you sleep. So, I mean, we recently decided to unplug our Wi-Fi at night. And we're hoping that makes a little dent in our health, right? The little things. It's just adding line upon line. You don't do it all at once. So you learn something, you start doing it.
You're learning the radiation involved with even 5G.
Yeah, we figured out how to turn 5G off on Mike's phone. Mine won't because I have a different provider and it won't let me do it. Ding it. Which I might switch for that reason alone. But Verizon, he was able to... How did you do it? Why don't you tell everyone how you did it, how you turned off 5G?
It's an Apple device and it's available in your settings. Just do a little research. It's pretty simple and you just switch to LTE. And it's even debatable how healthy that is for you.
5G, I would say, is a step in the wrong direction, though, in terms of health.
It's definitely cranked up higher in 5G. They talk about the radiation output of 5G, cell phone towers, everything.
If you're interested in learning about that, the EMF guy is your guy. I love his stuff. His passion is researching and interviewing doctors and experts about EMF because it's such an untapped world where things were just kind of unleashed before real serious research and time was done. And
So
so we're now learning what the
there,
effects are on our bodies, and it's a little bit alarming.
I could be wrong here, but they were talking about the government regulations around cell phone usage and cell phone towers in the United States. The last update or change that was done was back in like 1996 era as far as regulations are concerned pertaining to cell phone towers.
So they haven't updated any regulations since then.
Yeah, conveniently they haven't done any research on how these things can really affect you, and maybe
Well, these devices are really convenient, you know. It's hard for anyone to get real motivated about it, but until you start to have problems yourself and realize maybe it's because of the EMFs, and then you care. Interesting how people work. I'm no different, right?
Well, yeah, we're both sitting here and we're talking about it. We've got your phone here that's doing the video recording, and I've got my phone here with some notes and some other things on it, and they're very useful devices, but I feel like a lot could be done probably safer. Just the sheer functionality of our phones, there's probably a different frequency they could use, or something a little bit different that isn't so damaging. You go back to 4G or 3G, like how much are we trying to cram through our phones, and why? What's the motivation here? And it has to do with the marketing thing. The convenience is one thing, but a lot of it is attached to spending money and
getting things in front of consumers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's the $1 trillion. The
$1 trillion answer. Good job, Mike.
For sure.
Well, we weren't going to talk about a lot of these things today, but these tangents are good reminders, good info, good discussion. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here, Mike.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Of course.
Well, thank you to all who are listening to the Overcome Depression podcast. We will see you in next week's episode. Until next time. If you are new to this podcast, please go watch all of the hashtag introduction videos first, and then consider downloading the Overcome Depression workbook. Links in the description. The content in this podcast is based on my own personal beliefs, is for informational purposes only, and is not intended to substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please refer to the full legal disclaimer in the description.